All right, today we're talking about how to study so fast it honestly feels like you're cheating. We're going to unlock some serious science-backed shortcuts that will make your study sessions so efficient it'll feel like you found the cheat codes to school.
You know that feeling, right? You're staring at a mountain of books, you've got a sea of notes, and that big exam is just looming around the corner. It's that completely overwhelming feeling, like, how am I supposed to get all of this into my brain?
So what do? We do what we've always done. We pull the classic all-nighter, right? We're fueled by caffeine, maybe a little bit of desperation, and we just spend hours and hours staring at pages, highlighting pretty much everything, just hoping that we can force that information to stick.
But then the big day comes. You sit down at your desk, you flip open that exam, look at the first question, and it's a total blank. All that work, all those late nights, and the most important details have just vanished. Seriously, it's one of the most frustrating feelings ever.
Well, what you've just experienced is what I call the cramming cycle trap. It's this nasty loop of super high stress that leads to really temporary learning, which, of course, gives you an incredibly low reward for all that effort you put in.
I mean, just look at the contrast here. On one side, you've got cramming, total chaos, super high stress, and you remember almost nothing. But on the other side, there's smart studying. It's calm, it's strategic, and it leads to amazing long-term retention. Our goal today is to get you from that left side over to the right. So how do we actually do that? Well, it's time to introduce you to your new secret study weapon. And listen, this isn't about finding more hours in the day. It's about making the hours you already have really count. It's about working smarter, not harder. And that's really the heart of it all. The goal isn't to work harder, it's to work smarter. So right now, we're going to hand you two powerful, science-backed techniques that are the closest thing you will ever get to actual study cheat codes. Okay, our first hack is called the SQ3R method. I want you to think of this as your new secret identity. You're not just a passive reader anymore. You are now a textbook detective, and you are actively hunting for clues and critical information. So what is it really? The SQ3R method is a proven technique that literally transforms you from a passive reader, someone who just lets their eyes scan the words, into a truly active learner. It basically forces your brain to engage with the material on a much, much deeper level. And the process itself is a simple 5-step system. First, you survey the chapter. Just get the lay of the land. Then, you turn the headings into questions. Next, you read with a purpose, looking for the answers to those questions. Afterwards, you recite the main points in your own words. And finally, you review everything to lock it all in. Now, once you've actually learned the material with SQ3R, how do you make sure it stays put? Well, that brings us to our second hack, spaced repetition. I want you to think of this like taking your memory to the gym to build up its strength over time.
The science here is so fascinating. Our brains are actually designed to forget information. It's true. Studies show we can forget something like 70% of new information in just 24 hours. It's called the forgetting curve. Spaced repetition is basically a direct counterattack on this natural process. It signals to your brain, hey, this stuff is important. Don't delete it.
So what's the magic schedule? Well, after you first learn something, you're going to review it 1 day later, then 3 days later, then a week later, and then again 2 weeks later. This specific schedule interrupts that forgetting process at the perfect moments, embedding that knowledge deep into your long-term memory. So let's bring it all together. What we've just laid out for you is your new academic playbook. It's a total shift away from that brute force cramming method to a much more elegant and frankly effective strategy. So here are your 2 key takeaways. You're going to use the SQ3R method to actively engage with and really understand new material. Then, you're going to use spaced repetition to commit that information to your long-term memory. They are a perfect 1-2 punch. And that really is the most important lesson today. Academic success isn't about who can stay up the latest or who can read the most pages. It's about who has the best strategy. It's all about working smart.
Look, the cramming cycle is inefficient, it's stressful, and it's just plain broken. You now have the tools to do it differently, to do it so much better. So the only question left is, are you ready to cheat the system?